Hello friends, in this video we will study about our next topic, that is control statements. So if we talk about control statements, we have two things. First is condition and second is looping. By looping I can mean iteration also. Okay, so these are the two things in this control statement. So we can branch it like this, that control statements are like divided into conditions, selection, branching, and one part is looping and iteration. Okay, if we talk about this part, in this we have subparts. We will talk about all the subparts. First is the if else statement, if else condition statements, that is. Second is, we can also say that this if else is a keyword. Okay, if else. Second is only if, or I can say nested if else. We'll in further videos we'll see about it in details. Then third is only if. Then we have the else if. Then we have the last one, that is the switch, sorry, the second last one. And after this we have the ternary operator, that is question mark and a colon. Okay, this is the ternary operator. Now if we talk about looping and iteration, in this we have again some subparts, that is, first we have the while loop, and while is a keyword here, where W is capital, I mean W is small, not capital. Then second we have the for loop. Then we have the third loop, that is the do while loop. Okay, so these are the various sections in this condition and looping. In condition we have 7 parts, that is if else condition statements, nested if else, only if, else if, and this is switch case. Here s is small. All these are keywords also. If is a keyword, if else is a keyword, then switch is a keyword. Now here if we talk about while, here we can see that while is a keyword, for is a keyword, do is a keyword. Okay, so now first we will see about the if else statements. Okay, so I'll do a new page here. Okay, so this topic is about if else statements. Okay, so now if I talk about the syntax, what is the syntax of this if else statements? Okay, so in this syntax we can write here that the syntax is, first we write if. Okay, I'll use a next column for this. Here, if I write if, then we have parenthesis, that is the round brackets. Here I is small, be careful about it. And then in this we have the condition we want to mention. Then after this we have some true statements that will be executed if the condition is true. So I'll write here true statements. Okay, these are the truths, and the semicolon is must. Then after if, as you can see over here that we are using else, so in this I'll write else, and after else doesn't have any parentheses, it only have the statement. So I'll write here the false statement that will be executed when the condition is false over here. Okay, this is the simple statements, simple syntax. Now this is for single lines. Suppose if you are having multiple lines, here in this true statements you would be needing curly brackets to write over it. So for multiple we can write here like this: if, then we have the condition, bracket close, and then in this if we have the curly brackets. Okay, this I is small here. Now this, in this we can write, you can write whatever you wanna write. Okay, and a semicolon after that. Then again if you want to write something, write it and a semicolon. Okay, then after if we have the else one, and this also contain the same curly braces in it, so I'll put curly braces. Then you can write anything over here, semicolon, then you can again write anything over here and semicolon, and then we will close the curly bracket of else. So this is the syntax for multiple if else. That is, multiple if else, I mean by multiple if else that if we have the multiple line of code in if, and here you can see that we are having multiple lines, but if you're having single if, any single statement in it, we can use this without curly brackets. Okay, so now we will take a quick example. Okay, so for this example, what are we gonna make? We are gonna make a program to find the max of two numbers. That is, suppose if I am here having, suppose if I am having two, I mean we'll take two digits, that is two input in two variables. I have not told you yet about the input from user, so we will normally assign it. So if you are given 2 and 5, two values, so you are supposed to tell that which number is greater. So you have three possibilities: either the number is less than, either the number is greater than, or the number is equal. Okay, but we are not doing this program, we are only calculating the max of two numbers. So if I take two digits, that is 2 and 5, our output will be, okay. Now here is my new file. I will name my class as max. Okay, in this max, now I will save it in my Java proc folder as I told you before, with .java extension here, and this is max.java. Enter. Okay, now my program is saved. Now the first line as usual is public static void main and string args. I can write as much as you want. Okay, it's not compulsory, not at all, to give this a single s. That is, it's not compulsory to name it args only. We can write it over here anything, even I can write is. Okay, now here, now as I haven't told you about taking input from user, I'll take three variables. That is, for in two variables though, I'll store the values, that is a and b will having two numbers, and c will be storing their result, that is the max among these two. Okay, so now if I talk about if else, first I'll write if, then here I can write the condition, that is if that a is greater than b. Okay, suppose if I am having a greater than b, then I'll assign in max the value of a. Okay, rather than c, I'll take here max, so that it is more convenient to identify that what this variable is used for. Okay, so now in this max, now I'll make a else statement here, and in this c, that is max is equals to b. Okay, so now just let me tell you. Okay, so here we have taken two memory blocks, that is, first is a and the second one is b here. Okay, so now if I talk about a, suppose I am having in a the value 5 as we have taken over here, and in b I am having 7. So there must be two conditions. Okay, three actually. Okay, so the first condition is that if a is greater than b, that is a is the max, so I am assigning here in max the a. Now if in else statement, by else we mean that if the condition is false over here in this if block, here if a this is false, by false I mean that b will be lesser, sorry, b will be greater than a. So if b will be greater than a, then in max we would be having b. So in max I have stored here b. Okay, that's it. Now we will print this. Okay, so for printing, our line was system.out.println. In this I'll write that max of, then I'll concatenate here that a and b, then again is, and then space, and I'll concatenate here the result, that is max, and a semicolon. Okay, now I'll save this and I'll run this. For running this, I'll open my Java proc folder. Here I'll go to cmd. Okay, now here, just a second, I'll type here java c, that is the compilation command, and the name of my file you can see here, this is max.java. So max with m capital, I've given two spaces here, max.java. okay, so it is compiled successfully. Now we'll run it with the name of our class, that is also max, so I'll use here max. Okay, so you can see that max of 5 and 7 is 7. Okay. This was our first program of control statement to find the max of two numbers. Okay, now we will see another program. No, first, now moving towards next program, first we will see the syntax of nested if else. As you can see here that in control statements we were having if else, which is now done. Now we will use nested if else. What do we mean by nested if else? Okay, so here I go, this is nested if else. Okay, now this nested if else is here. In this our syntax is, first we have if, we write if, that is same as that one, if else one. If, then we have the condition in it, condition, parenthesis closed, round brackets closed, then curly braces, then we again have a if inside a if. In this we again have some condition, another condition. It's not necessary to give the same condition in it, we can give any condition here in this. Then it's, you can use curly braces as necessary by you. Then here we'll write the true statements. Okay, now this is the else part. In this we'll be writing the false statements. Okay, now what do I mean by true statements and false statements in this? By true statements I mean that if this condition in this nested if, inside if we have this condition true, then this statement will be executed, and if this condition is false, then this will be executed, and if this condition is true, then this whole if else block will be executed. Okay, now we have the else part. This else will be executed when the outer if condition will be false, this condition will be false, then this else will be executed. Okay, so in this else I can write here, again we can use here if and then condition and some lines of code, semicolon, and then nested else also, and again some conditions. Okay, then we will be closing this. Okay, I forgot to close this if bracket, so here I'm closing this. Okay, So this is my whole nested if else. In this if block I am having a one if else block again, and then in this else block also I am again having one if else block. Okay, these braces are also optional here. Okay, so if I remove this and then I remove this, and if I remove this here and as well as this last one. Okay, now it will also work the same as previous, because this will be considered as a single statement only. You would be thinking that you can see here multiple statements 1, 2, 3 and 4, so there should be the curly braces here, but no, we are not having the curly braces here. Okay, as this will be considered as a whole single statement, as this is a whole single if else block, and also this lines over here will be considered a single line. Okay, so now we will take an quick example of nested if else. Okay, so I'll be opening the editor. So now I'll make a new program that is max of 3 numbers. We have made here the max of 2 numbers, now making max of 3. So I'm naming my class as max and 3 here. Okay, in this now I'll make this, and we are having public static void main string args. Okay, I'll save it with the name max3.java, and I'll remove this. Okay, this is saved. Okay, so now I'm again taking 4 variables this time, that is 3 variables for storing the numbers and the last max variable for storing the result among all the 3 numbers. Okay, so I'm having int a, I'm taking the value 7, then I have b here and I'm supposing the value 4. In c I'm supposing the value 13. Okay, and I'm taking the fourth variable, that is max, for storing the result of all these 3. Now I'm using here the nested if else. In this if I'm writing if a is greater than b. Okay, so if a is greater than b, here if a is greater than b, then we'll put some condition, and else also we'll put some condition. Okay, so now see here, suppose I am having here 3 variables, right? A, b and c. Okay, so now suppose that a is greater than b. Okay, so if a is greater than b, then there are 2 conditions with us. What are the 2 conditions? If a is greater than b and if a is also greater than c, that is, we mean that a is the max, as a is greater than b and c both. Now if we take this condition, here we can have the else part of a is greater than c, that is, we are having c greater than a. That means we can write it like this: c is greater than a and a is greater than b. So you can see here clearly that we are having c as the maximum number. Okay, so this is for the if block over here. Okay, now if I talk about the else part, that is, if this a greater than b is false, that means if a is greater than b is false, then we have b greater than a. Okay, so now again this will have 2 conditions. Okay, now first is that if b is greater than a and also if b is greater than c, then the max is b. Okay, as b is greater than a and also c. Now this part over here is that if b is not greater than c, that is, if c is greater than b. Okay, we can also write it like this from here. Okay, as you can see here, we are solving for b greater than a, and we are taking that c is greater than b and b is greater than a. So here you can clearly see that c is the max of all three. So here we can see that our logic is clear over here. Now we need to type it in our program. Okay, so I'll erase all this. Okay, now I'll write over here that if a is greater than b and if we are having a also greater than c, then our max will be a. Okay, and if we talk about this else statement, then we have the max is equals to c. Okay, here we are having this max c. Just a second. Okay, now in this max I am having c. Now if we talk about this else part here, in this if I write if, now you can see that this else will be executed when b is greater than a, and also if b is greater than c, then we will have in max b, and if this is false, then we will be having c in max. Okay, this is our program. Now we will print the output, that is system dot out dot println, and again the same line, that is, okay, I'll copy it from here. Okay, now this is okay, now this is for a, two numbers only, so max of a and b and c. Okay, now a max of a and b and c is the result. Okay, I'll save this. So if we compile it here, I'll type java c and the name of my file, that is max3.java. you can see here this is written max3.java here. Oh, sorry. Okay, max3.java. So it is compiled successfully. Now I'll run my class using my class name, that is max3. Now max of 7 and 4 and 13 is 13. Okay, so if I want to look it beautiful, I'll put spaces over here. Okay, perfect. Now I'll again run, compile and then run. Yes, remember this point, that you should always compile and then again run after you made some changes in your program. Okay, so here I am having max of 7 and 4 and 13 is 13. Okay, so this was our program of nested if else. Now we will make another program of leap year. Okay, so in that leap year I will be using nested if else only. You can use if else also. No, it will only be solved with the help of nested if else. Okay, so here I'll make new file and I'll name my file class leap. Okay, I'll save it here dot java. Okay, now done. Okay, public static void main, string args. Okay, now first of all I'll tell you the logic and then we will make our program maybe in the next class. Okay, I'll see this. Okay, so if I tell you about the logic of leap year, so here just see, here we talk about leap year. First of all, what is a leap year? Do you even know that what is a leap year? So just let me tell you that suppose if a year is divisible by 100, Then we again have two conditions, that is, if it is true, this condition is true over here, and if this condition is false. Okay, so if this condition is true, then we will check that if the year is divisible by 4000, then this will be a leap year. But if it is not divisible by 4000, then this is not a leap year. But for if we check about the false case, then we will again check that if that year is divisible by 4. If it is divisible by 4, that is true condition, then we have the leap year. But if it is not divisible by 4, then it is not a leap year. Okay, so the conclusion is that first we will check that whether a year is divisible by 100, then if it is divisible by 100 and also divisible by 4000, then it is a leap year. And if a year is not divisible by 100 but it is divisible by 4, then this is a leap year. You cannot just simply check that if a year is divisible by 4. Okay, so if a year is divisible by 4, then it is a leap year. No, this is not the conclusion. This was not a leap year actually, as if it is divisible by 4, it must not be divisible by 100 also, as you can see over here. Okay, now we will make this program of leap year also by taking this flowchart, this whole flowchart into consideration. Okay, now I'll open the text editor. Okay, so in this program I'll open it side by side so we can see them both together. Okay, so this was our flowchart. Now I'll make the program. First of all, we will need a string variable to store that if y is a leap year or not. So I'm taking here a string type variable that is named as year. In this I'm storing here the blank input. Okay, now in int year I'm having, okay, this can't be same, I'll store in this the result, and this is the year. I'm taking example of 2020, that is this year presently. Okay, now if we now according to this flowchart here, first condition is I will check if y, that is if year is divisible by 100, this year mod 100 equal 0, that is if it is divisible by 100, and sorry, and in the else part we will take that when this is not divisible by 100. Okay, so when it is divisible by 100, you can see that we are checking that if it is divisible by 4000 or not. Okay, so I'll now put a nested if here which will check if it is divisible by 4000 or not. So if year mod 4000 equal 0, that is it is divisible by, sorry, it is 400 or it is 4000, just a second, this is 400, I'm extremely sorry. Over here I'll erase this part. Okay, I just cancel it, sorry for the convenience, just a second. Okay, so this is also 400 over here. Okay, we will check for 400, I'm sorry. Okay, so for if it is divisible by 400, now then we will store the result as leap year. Okay, so in this I'll write leap year. As you can see here that when it was divisible by 400, it was a leap year. Okay, so it is a leap year and a semicolon. Now in the else part I'll store in the result that it is not a leap year. Simple, not a leap year and a semicolon. As you can see here that if this condition is false, That is, if the year is not divisible by 400, then this is not a leap year also. Okay, so this part is done. Now we will move to the else block here, and here again we are having a nested if else. In this if, you can see here the condition is that if y mod 4 equal 0, that if y is divisible by 4, so year mod 4 equal 0, then no need of curly braces, then we will store in result that is leap year. As you can see here that when y mod 4 equal 0 is true, then we are storing in leap, we are having a leap year. Okay, so I've stored in result a leap year, and then if this condition is false, the result will be not a leap year. Result is equals to not a leap year. Okay, and a semicolon. Okay, so now we will be printing the result. After this else, I'm having here the result, that is system.out.println. I recommend you all to make your own notes, otherwise you will forget all these things after some time. Okay, I will print here the value stored in the result variable. Okay, that's it, this program. You can also take the screenshot if you want, and please note it down properly. Okay, so I've saved it. Now we will run it by the file name, that is javac leap.java, and the class name java leap. Okay, so you can see that this is a leap year, that means 2020 is a leap year. Suppose if I change here something like 2019, okay, and save this. After saving, now just suppose that after saving I didn't compile, I directly run that is java leap, then I'll get the same result. So you need to compile and then run it again after you made some changes in your program. So you can see here we got not a leap year, that means 2019 is not a leap year and 2020 was a leap year. Okay, so that's it for this lecture. See you guys in the next video with some more example of this nested if else, and then we will see the problem with nested if else, which is further solved with only if and the other statements I have talked about in the control statements. Okay, thank you.